Hello, Ran here, aka Mac, and welcome. So, capital ships in Star Citizen. Currently, we know CIG are working on capital ships, including the Bengal Carrier, which is a 1 kilometer carrier ship for the United Earth Empire, the Aegis Javelin, which is a 345 meter ship spanning multiple floors, and recently seen the Aegis Idris. Now, at the Gamescom presentation, we were kindly shown the Aegis Idris capital ship. Not only that, but we were treated to a capital ship battle between two Idris. This was quite an achievement for CIG, not just because they managed to get a fully working and flyable capital ship, but more because the battle looked how I imagined it would. When it comes to capital ships, if you own one, you'll be able to hire real players to crew it, or you can obviously hire AI, but the AI will be less useful compared to a real player, although in some cases, with the people I've played with, or in my case, AI may be a better option. Anyway, these ships are going to be the behemoths of the skies and space. Seeing something like this floating past will just be incredible. And many will be used as a deterrent. In some cases, I expect they will even turn the tide of battles. Now, things to point out before we take a closer look at the battle itself. Number one, neither Idris had their shields up, which resulted in the battle lasting only a few minutes. They did this as it was a live demo and they didn't want it lasting too long. Number two, one team was supposed to lose. Again, it was scripted and intended for the demo purposes, so it was always going to be the case. But anyway, it begun with one of the main Idris, the one that we're following, jumping to Yella, right in front of a path of another Idris who commed with demands, which were then refused and resulted in this battle. Now, when the battle begun, you can see a player running a long way to the turrets to help shoot down the enemy fighters. The huge front hangar doors opened up, and I'd love to know what would happen if you actually shot inside the hangar doors. But one of the best scenes that I felt in the battle was the Gladius, which was landed inside, launched out of the Idris doors to intercept the Buccaneer. There is a pilot ready room, which we saw as he was venturing up to the bridge. This is on board for pilots who are wanting to get into the fighters. They can run to get into their flight suits and then enter the ship. The doors did take some time to open and close, which is good. They felt heavy. They felt like they were real. And you can already see some damage on the front of them from the railgun. Do keep an eye on the damage as it builds up over time. It looks incredible. But also, with the shields being off, we were able to see every impact on the Idris, from the turrets, the fighters, weapons, and the railgun, as things sparked and smoked in places. Now, the first spacescape we got to see was full of lasers and tracers from the weapons. It's difficult to kind of see what's going on, but the contrast between the agile and swift fighters compared to the sluggish advancing capital ships, I think, was just one of the best sights that I saw at this Gamescom demo. And the comtrails from the fighters being the only way to track their movements, that is a nice touch, and I'm glad they did add that in. Now, the first time we saw the railgun hit, I was really pleased with that. The camera shook, it gave a great sense of power upon impact. But do note the second viewpoint below is the Idris that we are following, as you can see the impacts landing. Again, note the damage on the Idris throughout as the sparks spit out of particular areas which have taken hits. I love how slow and how slowly the ships pass. It is like watching warships battle on the ocean, which is exactly how I expected these kind of battles to play out. Now, talking of damage again, you've got huge scorch marks on the front of the Idris after taking a few hits from that railgun. And with the shots of Yella in the background, they are right that this game is just a wallpaper heaven. But then after the enemy Idris had taken too many hits, the detail in how small explosions spread throughout the ship, leading to that catastrophic explosion, which was probably one of the most epic destructions I've seen. I really can't wait to be on board one while it explodes. It sounds a bit daft, but you can see these explosions coming up, and it'll be quite chilling, I expect. But then we got some more larger blasts. It's full of flames, and then one huge blue shockwave, which followed by a flurry of parts and sparks. Just incredible, it really was. But after the battle had finished, the two Gladius, which were helping out to fight off the enemy fighters, returned to the Idris and landed inside the large hangar area. Now, I love that all of this just works together, and what is cool is that while, say, after those fighters have finished, they will head inside, they'll get out of their ship, they'll head off and start talking about the battle, and then ship engineers and mechanics will come in and repair any damage the fighters took, as well as replenish the ammo and fuel, and that's going to be a role of an actual player in the verse. You know, one of your crewmen or a few of your crewmen who are on board the Idris will have to go and repair the Gladius or the fighters that you have, restock them, refuel them. It's just, there's so much more to come that I don't think a lot of people realise. Now, as I mentioned before, yes, the battle was over pretty quickly, but this was mainly due to the shields being off, the intended lack of skill on one side as they had to lose, and the fact that they didn't want the battle to last too long with it being, shown off to a crowd. This is why it happened so fast. These capital ship battles will play out for many tens of minutes if both teams are playing well, so expect long-drawn battles with actual tactics being used. And eventually, when we are engaging in battles on capital ships, there will be many others on board each ship playing their role and keeping that ship flying and holding off the enemy. Engineers will be running around repairing and swapping out components and subcomponents after they take damage. Other bridge crew will be directing the fighters on targets to hit. Medics will be attending to any crew member unlucky enough to get injured from internal explosions, and even firefighters running around to put out flames. This was just a very basic version of what we can expect to see when it comes to capital ship battles, and I personally thought it showed off great promise for things to come. It was a really great battle, and I thought it looked as it should do. I can see after some balancing those railguns being a huge deterrent in ship-to-ship battles. You'd definitely think twice knowing that the ship had such a powerful weapon to it. We know the Idris won't be ready for 3.0, so fingers crossed for 3.1, but we also know that the Javelin capital ship is close behind and almost ready. I think it was only 2 rooms that were needed to be complete on the Javelin. I wouldn't be surprised if we got to see these epic ships in action along with the Bengal, first in Squadron 42 rather than the Persistent Universe, but either way, they will clearly be one of the more exciting features in the game, one of which I cannot wait to explore. Do let me know what your thoughts are on these capital ships. What, if you own one, what will you be using yours for? Sometimes battling it out isn't always the answer. Sometimes you can just use them for hauling and maybe just use them as a deterrent. Anyway, don't forget we're giving away a Star Citizen starter package throughout the month of September, courtesy of my patrons. All you got to do is be a subscriber to me here on YouTube and comment below with anything you want to say. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on here, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and everywhere else you find me. And I shall see you next time.